I guess we can just leave our mics on today.
This morning's match will feature Nova Scotia versus Team Quebec as the home team. We will start with the presentation of the players, followed by the umpires as well as an official.
Yeah, I've hit go.
Well.
Did you push her, Glenn?
Let's start with the visiting team Nova Scotia. Commençons avec les joueurs de l'équipe.
And it looks like our mute button's working.
For
Welcome, Manitoba Sportsnet here with Day 2 of the U21 Women's Invitational Baseball at Fines Field in Stonewall, Manitoba. We'll be starting off today with Nova Scotia versus Quebec, Ontario. We talked about them yesterday, winning both games, having 2 more games today, which, you know, you get them all crammed in and giving you for that semifinal day. That's your only game. Winning both their games. Nova Scotia won their game yesterday. Manitoba split 1-1. Quebec went 0-1, losing against Ontario, and Saskatchewan 0-2. Just announcing the starting lineup for Nova Scotia and Quebec right now. We're Cassidy, I think this is kind of the game we're looking forward to most today. Just they're kind of in that. We don't want to say Ontario is unbeatable, but Ontario just seems to be on fire and defending champs up that number 1 spot. But these two are just very strong teams themselves, very complete teams as well, and this will be a fun game to watch, I believe.
Yeah, and of course, yesterday within that Nova Scotia win, it was Carly Jackson throwing 60 pitches. She's ineligible to pitch today. Quebec only playing 1 game, playing extra innings. Did a good job managing their arms. No Quebec pitchers ineligible are ineligible today. A big, nice arm management by the Quebec coaching staff.
And that was something I brought up yesterday, was just kind of the complete arms all the way through Quebec last year, and believing that they'll be much the same this year. A lot of the same names returning. First game today, we'll have our national anthem, and we'll get started. Timeless words said, and for who knows, 100 years now, let's play ball. Nova Scotia is away and will be at bat first. And they put up 15 runs against Saskatchewan yesterday, showing that their bats are ready and willing to do the job. We'll see with a strong Quebec pitching team if they'll be able to have success again.
Alexandre Fournier pitching for Quebec. Of course, Castillo bat catching. We talked about her a lot yesterday and last year as well, is the impression that I got.
Indeed,
some nice catching talent at this tournament. For I think every team has to be pretty happy with their catcher play so far.
Yeah, and I mean, we were talking yesterday again, Castillo winning Defensive Catcher of the Year and how just standing above the rest. But this year, man, over in Saskatchewan, if you wanted to look for the good with such a young team, you made the comment yesterday, Saskatchewan is more or less a U18 team besides two players. And you have such a young team, you want to find those good things to build off of. And Jordan Mann behind the plate there. But even Ontario, Manitoba, everyone just that play is Castillo for defending her defensive catching title. We'll see if I don't think it's a sure thing, but yesterday she showed that not only was she a great back catcher there, but some speed and power at the plate and around the bases.
Just waiting for the warm-up here to finish for the Quebec pitching.
Of course, we'd like to thank our tournament and inning sponsors, Sonova Credit Union, with 12 branches through Southern Interlake and Eastern Manitoba, 3 in Winnipeg. Sonova staff members are there for their members. Sonova Credit Union, relationship matters most, and we talked about yesterday that they're open on Saturday and they're open until 4 p.m. on Saturdays. So, a lot of banks, they'll say they're open on Saturday, but they're closed by noon, and you're wanting to sleep in.
The right fielder, number 13. Tessa Hood.
Tessa Hood will be starting things off for Nova Scotia here, batting first. And we get the play ball call from the ump. First pitch is in, a little high. Second pitch. Ooh, just beats the batter there. 1-1.
Nice velocity on that pitch there.
Get back. First game, not as many people in the stands yet, so no one having to dive away from that ball. It bounces down. One-two pitch.
Pops straight up. Castillo makes the catch for the first out of this game.
Now today it's there's no clouds, but the haze, we talked about it. It's thick. It's pretty much a cloud cover this morning, all the way around. Yesterday it was kind of off to the side, but now it's just sitting over us. So again, our hearts go out to everyone battling the fires out on the west coast there, and both in BC and even down in the States. I know California is having massive issues as well. So this second batter here, but it's here, so if it can block out the sun while it's here anyway, we won't mind today. Our high of 34, even warmer than a very hot day yesterday. And Katie Hagen is up to bat, and first two pitches being balls. Just below the strike zone.
We'll see if she gets the green light here, or she's going to take this all the way.
Yeah, not a lot of batters in this tournament have that 3-0 green light, and even if she did, her good eye saw that it was going low.
Hagen draws a one-out walk. Bring to the plate number 7, playing at third base, Carly Jackson.
Of course, Carly Jackson throwing her number 7 in strikeouts yesterday, and in 3.5 innings or 3 1/3 innings of work against the Saskatchewan team, moving to third base for this game.
You can see her batting number 3 in the lineup even yesterday, I believe, that not only is she great on the mound, but she's great at the plate, and definitely a name that we talked about a lot last year, and already this year she's proving that we're going to be talking about a lot again this year. Pick-off move, keep the runner there. One pitch. Called inside, 1-1. One out here in the top of the first inning.
We talked about Quebec being one of the more vocal bullpens. I think the morning they're taking a little bit to get up and moving and loud here.
True. Maybe when their bats come up, they'll wake up a bit.
They'll wake up a bit, but yeah.
2-2 is the count now.
Both these teams playing again tonight. Quebec taking on Manitoba at 3 o'clock, and Nova Scotia taking on Ontario at 6 o'clock.
That pitch fills the count.
Steal is on, no throw, but
now walk, so
this is a walk
negated.
anyway. Steele popped up looking to throw. So good job. Didn't wait to hear the ball call from the umpire, just in case.
Going to talk to Fournier. As Jenna Jackson comes up to the plate. Jenna from Kentville, Nova Scotia, 21 years old, so her final year at this tournament. Outside, maybe a little high as well. First pitch ball. Low inside. 2-0 is the count. One out here, runners on first and second. Ooh. A little early of the release. Ball goes up, 3-0. Easing that pitch in there with the 3-0 count. Hits over shortstop, who's able to knock it down. See if she can get the runner out at first. Throws on target, and it's an out, but she does advance the runners. But that does bring it to 2 outs, which gives Quebec a little breathing room as Alexis Galloway comes to the plate.
Sure, the infielder there a little bit frustrated, couldn't get the double play, but did a good job once she did knock it down. Couldn't catch it cleaning, taking the out that she could get.
Yeah, there was no hesitation to switch from going 2 to just get that one at 1, and we saw that a couple times yesterday where infielders were kind of looking around where they should throw and rushing their throws and off-target throws because of it. Galloway grounds it to first, and first baseman will take it herself. That'll end the first half of the inning. So it's still 0-0. Couple reached on walks, left on base. As we go into the bottom of the first inning, Quebec coming up versus Nova Scotia here in the first game of our second day U21 Women's Invitational. I'd like to thank our inning sponsor, Sonova Credit Union. Sonova's Help HQ is there for you with extended hours. They can help you with accounts, savings, loans, password resets, and more over the phone, and also online chat or even text message. It's open Monday to Sunday. Learn more at sonovacu.ca. Mentioned yesterday, if you're like me and you have a bunch of those tiny humans called children running around, sometimes you don't. Well, they seem to turn up their volume whenever you have a phone call, right? Maybe they're even playing quietly, so you're like, oh, this is the time to make this an important phone call, and you're in a different room, and somehow they have that radar that, oh, mom and dad are doing something important. Now's the time to, steal a toy or shove each other or just start yelling for no reason. Well, now you can text or online chat and help out with your bank account there. It's really kind of handy as more and more places are kind of understanding that it's not always convenient to pick up the phone and call, or we're just a generation of people who prefer text message over phone calls, kind of losing the art of social interaction. But I blame my kids why I don't call and them being loud, and they're generally quiet kids except for when I'm on the phone. It's just the way it is. Michaela Addington will be starting for pitching for Nova Scotia. Brogan McNeil catching for her. Bottom of the first, about to start.
Catherine LaBelle leading off for Quebec.
Au bâton pour le Québec en cette fin de première manche. Leading off for the bottom of the inning for Team Quebec. The center fielder number 4, la voltigeuse du centre, numéro 4, Catherine.
And here we go.
Had a key sacrifice in last night's Quebec Ontario game. Able to advance the runners and that played a key role in that tying of the game in the top of the 7th.
Second pitch ball, 1-1. Addington, one of the few left-handed throwers in the tournament. Made mention of that for both boys and girls youth baseball, but especially girls baseball as it gets bigger. Third pitch is strike, 1-2. That left-handed throwers are such a prize to coaches. Encourage any of both hands to go out for baseball if they think about it, and you're like, well, I don't know how to throw a baseball well, that's what coaches are for. If you knew everything, they wouldn't have a job. They will help you. They'll teach you how to strengthen your arm, throw it right, to do it right and safely. High pitch fills the count. Of course, we talked about pitch count and the difference for the under 16 players, 16 and 15-year-olds who have a different pitch count than over. Now it's just so important to keep your arm. Nice high hit by LaBelle. Second baseman running back. It looks like right fielder will... No, it just drops in between them. I think second baseman kind of lost it, and right fielder was trying to get there in time, who had a vision on it, but just couldn't get there in time.
Well, there's a little bit of a breeze here coming in, basically a little bit from right side, so maybe held up a bit. Seemed like that ball was going to just be a simple pop-up to the right fielder, but kind of died in the air and dropped in between the second base.
And we talked about kind of have a breeze dead zone as Gouverment's up to bat here. 1-0 pitch. And now it blows in to let us know it is coming from that right field. But yesterday our equipment overheating under our tent overheating, where our cameras on the side were doing good. Gouverment lays down the bunt. Addington gets the ball, throws it over to first, sack bunt. Advances LaBelle.
Quebec first base coach trying to sell that she came off the mound with the signaling safe, but ump's not buying it.
Sometimes you try. Senna Catterall up to bat. 1 out here, runner on second. Good position to open up the scoring here in the bottom half of the first inning. Called strike, first pitch. exciting play in Manitoba's game versus Saskatchewan, and in the park, grand slam. Catterall pops that up over third base foul area, goes over the fence. Not a lot of kids here running to get their double bubbles yet.
They're all asleep. Still summertime for most of them.
Hopefully for all of them. If there's a school Manitoba that's open already, I would not want to be in that district. 0-2 count. Pitch is low. Already got a pitcher warming up over in Quebec's. Looks like number 15, Isabella Denis. So imagine they're keeping Fournier under 45. Throw over to first. Safe. What a great run out there. Grounder to shortstop. And again, with these full-time fields, not, they don't have the major league arms, right? So you got to run that out. Of course, if I was playing shortstop, you wouldn't even have to walk that out. You're going to get there in time. Catterall gets the infield single. As Levesque comes up, runners on the corners and one out. Catterall takes off running. Great hit into the gap. Left center.
This will be extra bases. Should be a triple.
Catterall able to round second, third, all the way to home. And it's a standing triple for Levesque, so Quebec does open up the scoring with a 2 RBI triple from Levesque. Catterall had such a good jump for a steal attempt had Levesque missed that she likely would have stolen anyway, and she was able to use that speed to round all the bases. As Castillo comes up to bat now. Runner on third and a 2-0 lead here in the bottom of the first. Here's the pitch. Hard hit into left and it'll drop, knocking in the third run in Levesque. Castillo getting an RBI single. Great start for Quebec here, as Nova Scotia coach will go talk to Addington about what they want to do to get these 2 outs. So, if you're Quebec, this is exactly what you want to do. And, they lost to Ontario. They're 0-1 coming in today, but they did put up 11 runs in that loss against a solid pitching staff of Ontario. So, taking that into now. And Nova Scotia is going to have to battle back hard against a very stout and well-rounded Quebec team. Isabella Denis at bat. Talked about her back in the bullpen throwing some pitches earlier. Ooh, nice drive, and that just gets over the pitcher's head and in between short and second, and that'll be a runner advancing base hit single. Castillo now on second base. Denis on first. And LeBlanc, Adrienne LeBlanc. Be there with 1 out here. Hoping to continue the scoring. Runners on first and second. We have Nova Scotia sending Megan Reardon to the bullpen. 21 pitches so far. Oh, no, sorry. Looks like 17 maybe. Pitch counter for Nova Scotia is partially blocked, but so it's actually not a lot of pitches if you think that this is the 7th batter she's facing. So Quebec taking the early pitches and not wasting them.
Yeah, jumping all over anything that comes over the plate. They are jumping all over.
And your mom says you're supposed to make you wear that.
Apologize for Glenn shattering it up in the background here. That's a strong, it's not even a breeze. That was a gust. I won't mind if it's a little windier today. LeBlanc tips it over, filling the count. It was one of those things, though, if you are coming out today or you're in a place that's equally warm and it's windy, you feel a little cooler, so you're like, I don't have to protect myself from the sun, but that's actually, not true. You have to use just as much protection because your skin is still going to burn. It just doesn't feel that way. Same as if you're in the water. The ball's popped up. Catcher's not able to track it down there at the back fence. And another bad burning. You're in the water and you're like, I'm cool. Well, the sun's first few inches of that water, you're still burning. And it might feel cool, but your skin will not later. So take precautions, especially on a day like this at 34, 93 Fahrenheit. Anyone's ooh. Ticks the ball. Keeps the count full. We have some people in different parts of the world watching.
That maybe are a little bit more acquainted with this kind of weather.
Or some of the older generation still use Fahrenheit pretty. Oh, swing miss, but it hits the dirt. Runners are able to advance though, but that will be a second out. Strikeout of LeBlanc on LeBlanc. A strikeout brought to you by our friends at the Lumber Zone. Locations in Steinbach, Stonewall, and Transcona.
Addington with a strikeout, 2 away. Now batting hits left fielder number 8. La voltige de gauche, numéro 8, Kelly.
Bridget Kelly up to bat. Ooh, big sweeping breaking ball. I had to double check up in the booth. They said Kelly Bridget, and I said I'm pretty sure it's Bridget Kelly's. And I looked at my paper, and it is Bridget Kelly. Ooh, another breaking ball.
I got 2 first names.
Yeah, I've heard Kelly as a last name. I'm not sure I've ever heard Bridget as a last name. Ooh, digs for that one. Pops it up. First baseman running. Not in time. Staying alive, though. 0-2 count.
As Addington battling here.
Outside breaking ball.
Looking to limit the damage. Swing and a miss there, but the ball goes by.
She's able to make it to first.
Able to make it to first.
So for people who aren't avid baseball fans, if you swing strike 3, but it's a pass ball, you can run to first. And on the stat sheet, she struck out, but it's not an out. So even though they're at 2 outs, they're still at 2 outs, and she's on first, and her runner from third was able to make it home. Which is one of those, it happens. You'll see it in baseball where it's a strike 3. It's kind of hit the dirt, so the catcher pops up and tags the runner or throws to the runner at first. We saw a couple throws to first yesterday because of it. If you're wondering why, she struck out at 2 outs, and they're still playing, and that's the rule. She'll take a free steal now over to second with 2 outs. As Erica Ahad comes up to bat. Ahad pitching quite well yesterday. Oops, swing and a miss, strike 2.
That was the turning point of that Quebec Ontario game. Quebec went up and
kind of after
looked to be cruising, and then Ahad came out, and Ontario took that advantage. So Ahad had a good outing, but Ontario able to jump on the relief pitchers as she jumps on this pitch.
Oh, hits off the left fielder's glove, and that will bring in 2 runs. And just the big inning keeps going for Quebec here. A 6-0 lead. It'll likely be scored as an error, but Ahad will obviously take that. just kind of disappointing as a pitcher. You're not having the greatest start of an inning. You want to shake it off to come out next inning, but a fielder mistake. And we talked about errors, how in this tournament, your hitting and your pitching is important, but it's those errors that's going to just really make or break you.
Well, we even saw it in the first, in the top of the first, with when the Quebec player able to just knock down and take first. Or was that this inning? I'm lost. It's early for everybody.
There you go, Quebec's shortstop knocking down that ball.
And going to first instead of trying to turn the double play. Well, even and as a pitcher as well, getting they got the strikeout, so they're working on if you're the pitcher, you're thinking you have 4 outs this inning already.
Mm-hmm. And they have to go and get a fifth.
Scoreboard only shows 2.
2-0 pitch. Ooh, just inside. Addington pitch count over 30 now. Can't tell if that's 30 or 38, so it's one of the two. We'll see in a couple pitches. If I can only see the 3 right now. Easy pitch in to get the first strike on a 3-0 count. 3-1 now.
LaBelle up for the second time this game already. We're only in the bottom of the first.
That's blasted to center, but I don't think it'll reach the center fielder, and it'll drop down. Runner held up at third, but we got runners on the corners again for Quebec as LaBelle gets her second single of the inning. Now we have Gouvermont coming back. She has a sacrifice bunt earlier this inning. Of course, with 2 outs, she won't be doing that again, but helping the offense in her own way. Try to continue this offense. Of course, Quebec, they didn't let up the gas on Ontario yesterday as LaBelle takes a free steal on that pitch. But and so that with Nova Scotia, they're not going to let up the gas again today because that 6-0 start yesterday wasn't enough. And so Gouvermont is going to continue, and all their players are going to continue that. And like I said, they didn't let up on Ontario, but again, that pitching change with the pitch count, wanting to keep Ahad likely for today in their 2 games. It's coming back to hurt Quebec yesterday. Ooh.
Gouvermont hit 9th yesterday, so moving up to 2nd in the lineup. Had a couple hits and a 2-for-4 day. Also had a walk and an RBI. So obviously moving up in the lineup thanks to a nice performance from the back half of the Quebec lineup.
And it looks like Addington will be done here right around mid-40 count again on that walk to Gouvermont. Now, I've read this year, maybe end of last baseball season, talking about how the number 9 hitter is no longer being called kind of the hole. They're trying to use it as the second leadoff, you can get another person on for your 1, 2, 3, 4.
Trying to flip the order, so to speak.
Yeah. So you get your fast, your good contact at number 1. You got a decent contact at 2, and of course your best hitters are usually, 3, and then 4 is someone good hitter, power, and then instead of putting your kind of next hitter at 5, you might slide them to 9. So you got to wonder maybe that's why Gouvermont's at 9 yesterday and now 2. Be interesting. The Addington is out, and thing is, her ERA isn't as bad as you think, because again, we're at 4 outs here, but only 2 on the board with that strikeout that went past and an error in the outfield. We have number 6,
now pitching for Nova Scotia,
Megan Reardon. Talked about her going to warm up. We'll take this game break to thank our sponsor. Imperial Cabinets is conveniently located on 2424 Ferrier Street between Murray and Templeton in the north end of Winnipeg. They have a 25 square foot showroom, and it's open to the public Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. They offer traditional and contemporary pre-made cabinets, as well as custom kitchen and bathroom cabinets. So
when you have your lumber zone deck, you need to maybe give some love to the inside of your house too. We were talking about lumber zone decks all day yesterday, so
Got to see if we can get Justin back in the Facebook comments. Ice cream makers, if you can make them out of lumber.
Put them in the cabinet.
Yeah, and whether or not they have barbecues and I mean maybe Imperial cabinets. Maybe they can.
Maybe they can make you an outdoor cabinet.
Maybe to go on your
know.
new deck.
Yeah, exactly. Some nice storage areas on your new deck, or even inside if you have you give some love to the inside of the house. I know it's summertime now, but it is. We're in the middle of August. We're smack dab in the middle of August now.
So in Manitoba, that means winter could be 2 weeks away.
Yeah, exactly. So
I shouldn't say that. Snow's been seeming to come a little bit later the last few years, and I appreciate that. Although it seems to stay a little bit longer, all the way through May, but it's one of those things. So we have Catterall coming back up. She did round the bases on a run after a base hit single, first time up. She has loaded bases with 2 outs here in the bottom of the first. Drives that to the second baseman, who's able to play it, and a throw. And that will be the 3rd out. So a disappointing inning if you are Nova Scotia, but they did get out of that inning, and 6 runs. We've seen a 6-0 lead disappear quite fast yesterday. Nova Scotia will be trying to do that again today. And we'll be back with the top of the first inning after a short commercial break.
The town of Stonewall is a great place to call home. Located just 25 kilometers north of Winnipeg, we offer our residents an abundance of services and amenities, from quality schools to a hospital with a fully functioning emergency room to great seniors housing. Our recreational facilities are second to none. The Veterans Memorial Sports Complex, the Heritage Arts Centre, Fines Field at Quarry Park, our paved walking paths, nature trails, and our jewel, Kinsman Lake. Stonewall has a strong base of businesses full of dedicated community-minded entrepreneurs that include a full range of retail and personal service businesses. Our industrial park has grown significantly in recent years, demonstrating the robust economy of our community and surrounding area. The quality of life experienced by our residents rivals any other community, which is why Stonewall is a great place to call home.
Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.
We're back with Mackenzie Pinet. Up to bat for Nova Scotia. First pitch was a ball, second a called strike. We kicked Glenn off the camera dashboard today, so we have a brand spanking new person who's already doing a better job with Glenn, but unfortunately the in-between timings, we just got to learn. So we'll in 2 innings, she'll be better at Glenn at that and actually telling us when we're back on the air. Of course, Glenn is the head man here. 1-2 pitch coming up, Fournier. Ooh, kind of a check swing that gets right over the pitcher to second, and high throw, and she's able to beat that out. It's kind of an awkward swing there, almost like I'm swinging and then maybe it's coming inside about to hit me, but it works. She gets on base. Be interesting if that's called a throwing error. It is. But Pinet trying to chip away at that 6-0 lead. She'll take it.
Looked like she was trying to check swing, and it just pops up, and makes that throw hard.
Brogan McNeil, first strike. Of course, Glenn, who we often reference to and often poke fun at here. He's the president, the head, the founder, the everything of Manitoba Sports Network, and he is a great boss because we can make fun of him on air, and yet he still brings us back. Of course, he's usually making fun of us as well. We just don't allow him to have a mic, so you don't get to hear that. Although I should say he doesn't allow himself to have a mic anymore. I think is how it works. Call's looking, third strike. McNeil a little frustrated with herself. Great pitching from Fournier.
Fournier avec son premier retrait sur poitrine.
We'll have Alyssa Lorette
Au bâton, la voltigeuse de gauche numéro 24. Now back
coming up for Nova Scotia.
Alyssa Lorette.
One out, runner on first. Here in the top of the second inning. Talked about our overheating issues with cameras, so we hope we have the system and we won't have the same issues today. 1-0 pitch. Ball 2. And when a camera overheats is whatever, we have other cameras, but our main switchboard overheated yesterday and we lost everything, and now we have more fans. Ooh, nice drive from Lorette. That'll get down to right field, and that'll be a base hit. The runner will advance to second. We have Allie Norris up next. So looking to chip away at a 6-0, down 6-0, and they get 2 runners on and 1 out. It's a good way to do it now, hoping Norris will be able to continue that. Tips the first one back. Sending the temporary bat girl running, otherwise known as the on-deck hitter.
Of course, Quebec lost a 6-0 lead yesterday in their game against Ontario.
And you can sure bet that's sitting there right there with them, that we gotta keep battling, keep fighting, and keep drawing blood from this Nova Scotia team. A low pitch brings it to 2-1.
Of course, that Ontario-Quebec game, rematch of the gold medal game from last year. Nova Scotia taking the bronze medal in last year's tournament.
3-1 is the count. And we talked yesterday about how sometimes, or when you get this major lead, sometimes people are like, well, now you just kind of let up, sportsmanship. But with the way tiebreakers work, you don't want to do that. You want that mercy rule because it boosts you in those tiebreaker situations. As Castillo goes out to talk to Fournier. She's at 35 pitches right now. I'm just checking her age. She is 15, so this is her pitch count maximum, so that's why there will likely be a change. We talked about the warm-up earlier. And there's the ball handoff, Fournier. Reaching her, so she'll be eligible to pitch, I think even technically later today, although that pitch counts get added to this one. But definitely tomorrow and Sunday. So as we wait for the pitch change, take this game break to thank our friends at Canalta Hotels. Canalta Hotels has 7-star commitment. They exist to provide above and beyond service and a welcoming and comfortable atmosphere. Amazing beds, warm hot breakfast at no charge, and 7-star service guarantee that you'll enjoy your stay. Discover them today at canaltahotels.com. It was always, I grew up in not a lot of hotels, and I had complimentary breakfast, so I just figured that was normal. Well then, grow up and you go to a new hotel, and you're looking for the breakfast, and you find out they don't have breakfast. So, when they say warm breakfast, it's a thing like I took that for granted, but it is such a huge thing when you're traveling that you don't have to wake up first thing and groggy-eyed find some food. I've also been in a place where the breakfast was downright, well, it wasn't warm. It was cereal. I think there was 2 kinds of cereal and a loaf of bread, and I maybe like a cream of wheat package, but that was it. And that is not what they offer at Canalta Hotels. It's something that you'll go in and you'll want seconds, or you'll hope it has a late breakfast so you can kind of squeeze in a brunch as well. Looks like Jasmine, Megan Jasmine's coming in. We saw her pitch yesterday, I believe.
Yeah, she had 39 pitches yesterday. So
looking to get some more out of her today. Jasmine is 17 years old from Montreal. We had none of our Quebec friends were correcting me, so I'm thinking I'm saying Rive-Sud good enough that they don't, as many players are from. I should look up, is it a town, a city? I mean, in Manitoba, to us, what's a big city is 2,000 people. There's like maybe 3-4 places in all of Manitoba that has more than 2,000 people. Outside of Winnipeg, there's almost none. You have Brandon, Thompson, I believe, is over 10,000, Steinbach. But everything else is just tiny.
And Morden, they're growing towards each other.
All right.
But
so in these other places, like, oh, it's a small city, and yet it's 30,000 people. It's like, that's massive for us. First pitch strike.
So Jasmine coming in with a 3-1 count, quickly makes that 3-2.
Norris pops that down foul. I'm talking about, in the majors, the only time you ever pull a pitcher during a count is injury. It's almost insulting if you do it for any other reason. But here it's normal because you're trying to, it's almost a compliment. It's like, we don't want you at 32 pitches, high pitch, pop foul. We want all 35 pitches from you because we trust you, we like what you do. So you're going to do those 3 pitches in this count, and then we'll pull you. And so it's almost a compliment in that we want to squeeze those 3 pitches out of you because we like those pitches. Full count pitch, grounded to short, throw over to first. Play is made. Be 2 outs. Runners do advance to second and third.
Surprised shortstop didn't go to second base there. The runner on first did not get a very good jump off that.
Back to the top of the order for Team Nova Scotia.
So now runners on second and third.
Top of the order up for Nova Scotia, Tessa Hood. Looking to get a 2-out hit here. First ball in the dirt. Of course, runner on second and third and a down by 6, 2-out hit would be just huge.
We've seen plenty of 2-out rallies from nothing, basically, in this tournament.
There's so many runs. I won't say most of the runs. It seems to be either right away from the beginning of the inning. 1-1 pitch is drilled, and there it is, that 2-run hit. Oh, no, maybe only 1. Yeah, great play by the right fielder to get right to the ball and throw it in. But an RBI single for Tessa Hood. And Nova Scotia just slowly chipping at that 6-run lead, now 5-run lead here in the top of the second.
Yeah, Pinay reaching on an error and coming around. So off that little check swing, that bloop to second base, good running to force a bad throw.
Now we have Katie Hagen, runners on the corner, and with Carly Jackson on deck. Nova Scotia, if they can do this 2-out rally. First pitch drilled. Will it get through? It does. Between third and short, and then another base hit RBI. Runners now on first and second. Some life being breathed into Nova Scotia's bench. A lot more smiles now than at the beginning of the inning.
Yeah. Hagen and Jackson drew walks in the first inning.
Let's see if Jackson will copy Hagen again.
Yep.
The base hit RBI. Home checking with first base to make sure the check didn't pass. Saying she didn't.
Very loud.
I know, it's
very
nice
loud
and clear.
asks. I usually they just point and make signals, but this time they explained it to everybody.
To first, she's able to get in front, and that will stop after 2 runs. But Nova Scotia, you got to be happy that 6 run down is now only 2 runs. The ground out from Carly Jackson. So as we go into the bottom of the second of the inning, it is Quebec coming up to bat with a 6-2 lead over Nova Scotia. We'd like to thank our inning sponsor, Sonova Credit Union. Sonova Credit Union has their famous DOGs, which spells dogs, or in this case, Directors of Greetings. 2 St. Bernards, Gallagher and Lily. You can meet Lily in person on August 15th in Stonewall and Toulon. I don't know the times, but if you go to Sonova on Facebook, you'll see the times. If I lived a little bit closer, it'd be worth it. Talking about how I actually remembered I have met a Saint Bernard once. It's not wasn't the normal coloring, the white and brown. It was a kind of a black and brindle. I remember I was where I grew up. We lived about 2 blocks away from probably one of the better outdoor hockey rink you'd see. That had a nice warm shack, and I go walking in the shack. And, of course, I'm a little kid, but there's this dog sitting right in the front door that's almost eye level with me, sitting as I am standing. And a friendly dog, of course. And so I have met a St. Bernard once, but I didn't really get to pet him because it was kind of shocking. But definitely, if you're wondering, or if you're looking for a bank, try a credit union. And if you're in the Interlake, Southern Interlake, Eastern Manitoba, and they even have branches in Winnipeg, a business that has dogs is better than a business without, I'm going to say. I'm sorry to all you businesses without dogs.
They should get dogs then.
They should get dogs. I mean, I got home yesterday, and I picked up my dog from my parents, and she knows she can't hop in the front seat, so she's just kind of wiggling her nose, whining on my shoulder. And we get home, I put my work bag down, and she burrows into my work bag. And, it's almost like a carry-on. If she fits in and she's in the bag, I can bring her to work, right? And so, I almost had to call Glenn, like Glenn, I have to bring my dog. She's in my bag. So, poor puppy. Maybe tomorrow, we'll see if she does it again, if it's just the way it goes, right? Now we're starting this bottom of the second inning. Arian Levesque. I was going to say Adrian, and it's like, no, it's not that. It's close. But Arian Levesque. Of course, with my, as we call it, the farm prairie, the prairie farmer accent is probably not doing any justice to her name. Levesque got the 2 RBI triple last inning. First pitch is high. You hear me talk, and it's amazing how, the Quebec, they know 2 language. People, some of them even know more, and I barely can speak my native language here. Ball over to short, throw to first, and in time. People hear me fumbling over words that are, they're wondering, how did that guy get on air?
Ask Glenn, I guess.
Showed up, he handed me a mic, and
I've been asked the same question.
Marie-France Castillo. MF Castillo. Her friends call her, or teammates call her MF yesterday. It's a lot easier for me. That it's a little bit Marie-France. First pitch down and
bounce.
1-0.
Sounds like the Nova Scotia manager adjusting their defensive positioning a little bit compared to what he saw last time. Castillo had a RBI base hit last time up.
-21-year-old, and we are last time at the tournament and already making an impact, go out with a bang. And she's done that in every aspect of the game already. Asking for a little bit more time. Sometimes, we talked about that yesterday, you get so tense and ready for the pitch that you almost kind of over tense or you over shift or whatever, waiting for that pitch, you just got to reset. 2-1 pitch. Oh, that's popped up to us. Ooh, that hit the.
Somebody on a phone back there.
Yeah. It went
about 5 feet away from him.
Yeah, it hit the close stand that Baseball Canada has, and luckily the people at the table weren't too close because that just kind of went right through the hole of the bleachers. 2-2 pitch. Breaking ball gets drilled, but I don't think it's far enough away.
Yes,
oh, it does get
top.
over the left fielder. And that'll roll 340 to the fence. Great play by the left fielder, though, to get to track down that ball, keeping it to only 2. Talked about a lot yesterday. We talked about a lot today. The full-size, major league size field. Center field is 400. Sides are 330. And, normally you play in because there's not a lot of hitters that can drive it to the fence. But we saw that yesterday. 1 or 2 hop to the fence, and that was Hicks on Manitoba.
Mm-hmm.
Got the Zoe Hicks getting her in the park grand slam because of it. You play up, and if the ball does get cranked over you, you have a lot of running to do, and these outfielders are running a lot. We've seen some big hits. First pitch on Denis is over her head.
Of course, this diamond, home of the Stonewall Blue Jays, playing in the Winnipeg Senior Baseball League. They're playing in the playoffs right now.
I mean, talking about my memory might not always be the greatest, but it just seems to me there's been a bit more power this year, a bit more of those deep outfield hits than last year. I know center fielders especially, I remember doing some great plays, 2-0 pitch in the dirt, but usually it was a left-right movement. It wasn't a going back, and honestly, going back is even harder because you're looking back at the ball, where at least when you're moving left-right, the ball's kind of in front of you and you're looking that way. So now they're in the dirt, and Denis will draw a 4-pitch walk. So it'll be interesting to see if coaches, if this keeps up with all these hits, if they will start, telling their outfielders play a step or 2 back than normal, because there's just a lot more power this year driving it to the fence.
Yeah, Alyssa Lorette playing left field for Nova Scotia had no chance on that ball.
No, and just
that was a good 2, 3, 4 strides away from a catch there. Did a good job getting to it, preventing the triple, but
LeBlanc up to bat. 1 out, runners on first and second. Quebec looking to increase their lead. Again, we talked about them. A 6-0 lead yesterday wasn't enough, and so they're wanting to start pouring it on right away, not waiting for the team to catch up before getting their next runs. First pitch high.
LeBlanc playing first base, struck out in the first inning.
Quebec was up 6-0 over Ontario, and then Ontario made it 8-6, and then we had some seesaw that were tying it up at 8, and then even going up in extra innings, 11-8, and then losing 12-11 to Ontario. Second pitch called strike. Breaking ball, just breaking low.
Quebec went up. Ontario, nice rally with 2 outs in the bottom of that 8th inning. Within the international tiebreaker rules, runners on first and second. Quebec did a good job of managing that, as that ball is hit straight to third base in Carly Jackson.
Looks like maybe Castillo forgot there's a runner on first. It's kind of maybe trying to draw the throw. I don't know, but anyway, there's not much you do in that as a runner. You just kind of run, and of course maybe she did that on purpose, prevent the double play, a tag out or throw to third and over to first, and
so Nova Scotia able to take out the lead runner.
Bridget Kelly up to bat. Solid hit, gets by the third baseman. Lorette.
Stop sign put up by the third base coach there.
Another great positioning play by the left fielder to get that ball and prevent runners advancing. And going back to Castillo, if Castillo was on third, she'd likely be home right now. Instead, she's out, and there's 2 outs.
Now batting the designated hitter number 14, Erica Ahad.
It's already starting to kind of heat up. I
Yeah.
think it's feeling a little bit warmer.
We do have that breeze coming in from right field.
And when that breeze goes away, you kind of get that warm feeling. So you go from warm to cold to warm, and I could be crazy. It's been rumored by my boss. I think he started that rumor. Well, it's not. Breaking ball brings the count 1-1.
Bases are loaded with 2 outs. Nova Scotia looking to get out of this jam here.
As our weather, it's only a 33 high now, and cloud cover being called. Ooh, pass ball hits off the ump and bounces back. That will get a run in. Yeah, yesterday it was calling for 34 with no clouds. Now we'll get some cloud cover, and that clouds we had like about 5 minutes where the sun went behind the cloud or during our overheating too, so it helped us see things. And it was such a blessed relief that even if it's just 5 minutes, we'll take that cloud cover. But again, we talked about the haze that's here from the fires out west, actually acting like cloud cover right now. 2-1 pitch is high. So maybe not as scorching as initially thought as yesterday. High still 33. We joked yesterday the high of 31 was the cold day of the weekend. A 3-1 pitch. Runners on second and third. 2 outs. And a walk to Ahad.
Able to flip up to the top of the order here in the second inning.
Now we have loaded bases for LaBelle, who has 2 base hit singles.
Only in the second inning here. Well, LaBelle has 2 hits.
It's, Nova Scotia is going to have to kind of figure out the defensive, the pitching. Only 1 error, but that error was costly. And of course that strikeout, pass ball strikeout that just continued that first inning. Like we talked about, your 2 outs on the board, but 4 outs in your heart, and you're like, we should have been out, guys. Come on, let's get a hold of this ball. And those defensive blunders are really, they're just so huge. Second pitch down low, 2-0. Setting up for the third pitch here. Here it comes. Ooh, low again.
Count goes to 3-0 with the bases loaded.
It's the second inning, and their second pitcher is already mid-20s of pitches. When you have 2 games in a day, you really don't want to burn through a lot of pitchers. Third pitch. Fourth pitch, sorry. 3-1's the count.
I don't think LaBelle never took the bat off her shoulder as that pitch came in.
Yeah, very rare to see someone in this kind of league throw at that, or to swing at that 3-0. And I mean, not even most hitters in the majors don't even have the clearance to take those swings. Ooh, inside breaking ball, called strike.
Nice pitch inside. Tough to hit if you're looking for to make a good contact on it.
Runners running on the pitch, walking in a run, bringing the score to 8-2. Quebec over Nova Scotia. Coach is going to go out and try to plan out a way to get this last out. We'll take this game break to thank our sponsor, the Lumber Zone, with an extensive delivery fleet, locations in Steinbach, Stonewall, and Transcona. They are more than just wood. Lumber Zone is locally owned and operated by Manitobans for Manitobans. Email info@thelumberzone.ca to get a quote on your next project. And we talked about how their gift card giveaway. Follow and like the U21 Women's Invitational Baseball post on Lumber Zone's Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook accounts for a chance to win a gift card. Use that gift card to build your wife or maybe the ladies, you're the handy one. You want to build your husband, get him out of the house, get him out of your hair, right? I know that's my mom. My mom's the one who would build the deck. Not that my dad couldn't. It just she likes tools and saws and stuff. Oh, pitch, full count here, bottom of the second. Loaded bases for Gouvernement. Sacrifice bunt and reached on a walk. One-hole pitch, gets in there, tick down, and it's kind of an awkward roll on the first baseline, but pitcher's able to grab it, and that ends the inning.
A nice throw by the pitcher there.
Yeah,
didn't have the time to get out of the base path, so had to quickly kind of throw around the runner.
Mm-hmm. You gotta. I mean, you're running pretty much as far as the base runner. And you're grabbing that ball, and it looks like it should be an easy play, but it's kind of a nerve-wracking one. Won't say it's a hard play, but nerve-wracking because now you got to worry. Okay, I can't hit the runner. I can't do this. I can't do that, and you have to handle the ball in full stride, right? And able to make it. And Nova Scotia getting the 2 runs, chipping away at the lead in the top of the second, and Quebec comes in the bottom of the second and gets those 2 runs back. Jasmine will be on the mound again, but we'll be back after a short commercial break.
Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.
And we're back. Jenna Jackson, 0-1 pitch there. It's Nova Scotia kind of not how you wanted to happen when you respond to a deficit with 2 runs, is to let those 2 runs back up on defense. Got Joel joining us on Facebook. So Joel, I'm not sure if you heard our questions about the lumber zone. I wonder if you guys have barbecues, so when guys go and like your U21 Women Invitational Baseball post, and win that gift card, they build their decks if they can get themselves a barbecue as well. Let us know. 2-1 pitch, a little high.
We were also wondering if you could make a wooden ice cream maker, if that was possible.
Or
lumber.
What's the most creative? Someone's used your foul, fills the count. We were talking about ice cream yesterday. Right now, I'm not sure if I'm in an ice cream mood right now. Maybe. We'll see. It's supposed to get warmer.
We'll see. We'll see when it's high noon. Sun's beating down over top of us.
So Jasmine is back at the mound, coming in for relief for a great 35 pitches from Fournier. 3-2 pitch, driven to center, and that will drop down right in front of the center fielder. So that's the Nova Scotian wants. They want to just take the wind out of Quebec sails. Get a base hit is a good way to start that.
Now batting center fielder number 14.
Relatively slow-moving game so far. Hour and 5 minutes into this game. Only in the top of the third.
Hey, yesterday the games were just, they were done in 2 hours, and we actually had a break in between. It was nice. Inside pitch. And of course, with that heat, I'm sure the players are happy they don't have to be out on the field for 3 hours in the sun. But I know Nova Scotia, they're going to gladly take any single or any chance they can get, or any time they can get to chip away at this lead. Swinging at the low pitch, 2-1's the count.
A bit of a gauntlet for Nova Scotia today, playing the silver medal winner this morning, and then tonight playing the gold medal winner from the previous year.
Mm-hmm. Breaking ball just tips it. 2-2 the count.
Runner on first. No outs for Galloway.
2-2 pitch. A little high, fills the count. Sherry giving us a thumbs up. Pops up, but third baseman will easily corral that. One out here in the top of the third.
Adrian Levesque, nice little play by her. Adrian, I should say.
Panay reached on an error first time. Back up to bat. First pitch strike. One pitch. Driven out into right field. Right fielder gets there. 2 away. Good contact, though. And, just lifting that ball out and
just hung up there a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Talked about one of the games yesterday where in the string it was actually started by 2 solid, a line out and a fly out, but just solid hits on the bat. And sometimes just hearing that crack can get your team pumped up. It's like, yeah, it went to a player, but first pitch.
Brogan McNeil up, the catcher, struck out in the second inning.
It's a lot. Even as a batter, you hit the ball, you get that crack, the ball's gone deep, and yeah, the fielder was there. It's a lot more heartening than a little dribble down to the pitcher or first or third baseman or second. Just one of those where you just kind of chip the ball and you get out, or a strikeout even. It just, now next time you're like, all right, I can hit the ball. If I do that again, it might go 5 feet this way, 5 feet that way, who knows, and there won't be a fielder there, so. Hit over there, and that stays fair. Be an extra base hit. Runner's being waved around. Oh, misses the cutoff. That'll be an RBI double for Brogan McNeil.
McNeil with a double to left field, scoring Janet Jackson from first base.
Another 2-out run. Talked about the 2 out. Seems to be very common to get runs this tournament.
We saw Nova Scotia have some nice speed against Saskatchewan, taking advantage of maybe some fielding errors using their speed.
Alyssa Lorette, we talked about her fielding ability last inning, and just probably likely even saving a run and keeping a double to a double and not a triple. Swing and a miss there, 0-2. Pitch coming up here, 2 outs here. Runner on second. Breaking ball, and she drives it through. Runner will be held up this time at third. Ooh.
Oh, overrun.
Ooh.
Called out.
She doesn't get in time.
Called out. Got the stop sign, just overran. That was Brogan McNeil.
Great play by the defense to just stay on that, not give up and get that. And we talked about that a little bit yesterday too. Some quick throws to the base. But that will be base hit single for Lorette, her second hit of the game. So doing well offensively and defensively, and just it's just kind of a bummer getting that caught out, trying to get back to the base.
I think you gotta. That's a good tag more than anything else. As Erica had at third base.
Now we go to the bottom of the third. We'll thank our inning sponsor, Sonova Credit Union. They're this inning and every inning sponsor. They have 15 full-time branches. They have one in Stonewall, 2 in Lawn, Selkirk, Lac du Bonnet, Pinawa, Beausejour, Pine Falls, 2 in Oakbank, Dugald, Birds Hill, Whitemouth, and 3 in Winnipeg. Many of their branches are open on Saturdays, either 9 to 4 like Stonewall, Selkirk, or Toulon, or 12 to 4 like Selkirk and 3 in Winnipeg. So I have Selkirk listed at both. So I don't actually know if Selkirk is 9 to 4 or 12 to 4. Maybe someone from Selkirk who is a Sonova member can let us know. It looks like they only have 1 branch in Selkirk. But yeah, I mean, again, we kind of mentioned it that a lot of banks, if they are open on Saturday, it's like 9 to 12 or 10 to 12, and who wants to be out in your Saturday morning clothes missing brunch because you got to make a bank like 12 to 4. Yeah, it's only 4 hours, but it's after brunch time. So if you're looking for a bank, why not try Credit Union? Oh, Joel saying sorry was on the phone. All right, Joel. So we're wondering 2 things. One, you're more than lumber. So a guy, he enters your U21 contest, likes your page, shares your page, wins that gift card, builds his wife a deck. Can he buy himself a barbecue at your place? That's our first question. And our second question is, what's the most creative thing one of your customers has built? We're wondering if you could build a ice cream maker out of lumber. So that's you can answer that at your convenience. Think about that. Bottom of the third here, 8-3, Quebec over Nova Scotia. Quebec coming up to bat. And the catchy, upbeat songs. Canadian song too, Canadian band. Kind of the Canadian Weird Al in Angry Worms. Makes the day a lot more fun when they're upbeat and pumpy.
Especially in the morning.
First pitch. Ball kind of gets by. This is Catterall, I believe.
Yep, right fielder. As a base hit, came around and scored, and also grounded out to end that big first inning for Quebec.
Pitch bouncing in the dirt. 2-0. In the 30s for the pitch count. Reardon. All right, so Joel, they do sell barbecues, and they actually sold out of propane and gas this year, but he could get in wood pellet barbecues. I was actually, when we were talking about what to make, I was like, a wood pellet grill, or a wood-burning grill, just because I haven't had that much, and it's just like, ball in the dirt, 3-1. You see, baseball, it just seemed like, burning wood, wood grills, just seems like something to try. Ballpark Franks. I remember Michael Jordan back in the 90s being their spokesman. Although I guess that would be more basketball, but that was around when he was playing baseball, right? Ballpark Franks.
Yeah.
Called strike, fills the count. Do you remember? Do you remember those commercials? Do you know
Nope.
the tagline? Oh,
No.
tagline was "They plump when you cook them." 3-2 high, and that'll be a walk. Catterall. I was impressed with Glenn's ingenuity in our little portable air conditioner here. Well, then I found out it's a Facebook Pinterest thing, and it wasn't his own idea. So, I mean, he's my boss, so I have to say I still find him very creative. But now that his back's turned, it's just like, well, but it's still, it's a pretty cool idea. You use a cooler and a fan and some ice. So, of course, everyone else, I'm not really one, I don't have a lot of Facebook friends. I kind of keep it to family or whatever. You'll see me in the fish costume commenting sometimes. But, yeah, apparently that's been going around and I missed it.
Pitching change here for Nova Scotia. Tessa Hood coming in.
I believe Hood pitched a little yesterday.
Yeah. Hood playing right field today, hitting in the leadoff spot.
And as Cassidy is trying to...
No, Tessa Hood did not pitch yesterday.
Okay. And as we take this game break, we'd like to thank our sponsor, Kahunaverse Sports, formerly Home Run Sports. Kahunaverse for all your sporting good needs. They have a wide variety. I knew when it was home runs, there was kind of, I think they have stuff like lawn darts and bocce ball there. So I imagine the Kahunaverse would still have that as well. So Joel saying the most interesting is the windmill built. That's interesting. I mean, I'm from Steinbach, so I see windmills every time I drive by the Mennonite Heritage Village. But to actually build one in your backyard would be kind of cool. Oh, mini golf maybe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Although I hear that's not what they're made for. They actually had a use. Like, who would have known, right?
Going into right field, number 25, Emily McFadden.
So Emily McFadden's going to take right field. And 25, McFadden will be hitting DH spot, replacing
Jenna Jackson.
Jenna Jackson.
Or Jenna Jackson. Yeah, Jenna Jackson was DHing.
So sounds like she'll now be on bench, maybe potential arm later in the game.
Mm-hmm.
So remember, in this, if you're a hitter, you're allowed being pulled and then come back in as a pitcher, or vice versa. You can be completely pulled. You don't have to just switch. But if the DH is switched, then the pitcher does have to hit if you want the pitcher to hit. And that's it's actually kind of a little-known MLB. You just say AL have DHs, but they actually have a specific thing. And there's been a couple times either a manager will screw up or something, and all of a sudden the pitcher's hitting in an AL game, and there's actually a set process. And if you substitute your DH and you do it wrong, then all of a sudden your pitcher's stuck hitting. Stolen base there. First pitch strike. You have Ariane Levesque back up, of course, with that big 2 RBI triple.
Looks like there's almost a touch of hesitation there from the catcher.
Cranks that down. First base. Oh. And that'll be a safe run out. And we talk about that overrun third and a hard throw. That was a really good throw. That's number 10, Mackenzie Panay. And throwing it back, but that's one of those ones that the first baseman gets the ball and the second baseman goes to cover, but it's kind of that awkward. You're both going to kind of be at the same time, so you don't toss it, that slight ahead to second baseman to risk the drop, and Levesque makes it on the single. As Castillo, runners on the corners, no outs here. And that pitch was just thrown away, I believe. Trying to see how Quebec would do. Levesque does take her free steal.
Castillo, a base hit, RBI base hit, and a double. Came around to score both times.
Ooh, inside. And I'm Castillo, her last time up, that just hard hit over left fielder's head. Lorette getting to the ball quickly enough and keeping Castillo to a double instead of triple. Free strike there on the 3-0 pitch. Brings it to 3-1. And we talked about how, a scoreboard 8-3, what's one more run, but that's a great play by Lorette to, if Castillo would have made it to third, she likely would have scored last inning. And as Castillo is walked this time, filling the bases.
So bases loaded, no outs here in the top of the third.
Isabella Denis coming up. She has a hit and a walk.
Playing shortstop. the Quebec coach yelling instructions in French.
Hard hit to the left. We got to get someone, a French-speaking baseball knowledge person here in the booth. Well, both speaking. Don't last year go to interview and player Naomi. She knows more English than I know French, but I didn't think to ask for someone else to help me. And pitched a very good game last year, and I imagine we'll see her pitching again today or tomorrow. It's Naomi Lapointe for Quebec. 1-2 pitch. Denis drives it. Floating left.
Nice
is there.
catch. Tagging up.
It will be a sacrifice fly, RBI. The runner still on first and second. One out here in the bottom of the third. One away, so that's the first out after loaded bases, and LeBlanc comes up with runners on first and second. 9-3 game here in the bottom of the third.
Quebec restoring that 6-run lead that they worked hard for in the first inning.
First pitch strike.
You can see some spectators way out in right field behind the fence there.
Yeah, with their dogs. There's a path there they seem to walk their dogs on, and kind of hoping they round and I can pet some puppies. Pitch down in dirt. Oh, gets by, and the runners steals. So now runners will be on second and third with only one out. One is the count. One pitch. Ooh, that was a solid thunk on the side of LeBlanc. I cringed hearing that all the way back here, and she just shakes it off. So LeBlanc, tougher than I am, takes her first base. That'll fill the bases again with Kelly coming up. And Nova Scotia just kind of... Oh, no, LeBlanc is taking a breather. I don't blame her. That was kind of like right underneath the armpit, and that's a soft and sensitive place, and that was a hard pitch.
Looks like she's going to stay in, trying to shake it off.
Derek, if you're watching or you watch later, we still haven't gotten you hit by a pitch. First pitch. Oh, and that bounces over the catcher, and that'll bring in a run on the pass ball. Talk about catcher play, and this is not a knock against Nova Scotia and their catcher, but just how important it is on plays like that, because we've seen some errant pitching, and especially you're doing double headers and a lot of pitching. You're just you're using more pitchers than you normally would in a game, and you just need that's when a catcher like Castillo on Quebec or Mann on Saskatchewan becomes just so premium. Kelly drives the ball up, back behind us, and almost makes it into the snack shack. One is the count. Runners on second and third, one out, the bottom of third. Quebec having a 10-3 lead.
Brogan McNeil as popping up to short.
Kelly, not McNeil.
Or I was going to say Brogan McNeil catching for Nova Scotia. Did not play yesterday, so bit of a lineup change there for Nova Scotia. So it's her first time catching, and not much she could have done on that pass ball. I think it caught the front edge of the plate and popped up over her, it looked like.
And sometimes that ball hits and kind of just bounces mid, and sometimes we've seen it, especially in the sand, they pack it down, they water it down, and it's yesterday, the one that comes to mind is it's bouncing towards the shortstop. It's 4 inches off the grass, and then it hits the sand and it bounced 6 feet. It's like, how? Great block there by Brogan McNeil. 2-0 is the count. Good to see Hood kind of in good spirits, not getting too down on herself, and And talking about a smile on your face when you're down will get you back into the game a lot better than frustration. 2-0 pitch. Called strike, 2-1. Okay, we're going to need a physics major now, too, to explain how the ball just switches and bounces. I mean, it hits the grass and does 2 bounds. You think that it's taken some force off and then just boom. Nice drive to center. Center fielder gets there, catches it, and that does end the 3rd inning. So another 2 runs for Quebec in this inning. We've gotten 6 runs the 1st inning and 2 in the 2nd and 3rd. As we go to the 4th inning, we'll be back after a word from our sponsors. And we're back. First pitch, swing and foul.
Ali Norris leading off for Nova Scotia in this 4th inning.
Top of the 4th, Nova Scotia is down 3 to Quebec's 10. Pitch there. Over to short. Handled, thrown, out. Good infield play. Making it look easy.
Yeah, sometimes those can be deceptively hard. You think it's hit right to the shortstop.
We just, before the commercial break there, talking about the almost cartoonish reaction the sand does, and how it has done yesterday, and wondering if it'll just inside. Tessa Hood up to bat. Lead-off hitter. Just wondering if it'll be the same today. Driven hard, and that'll get between second and first, over into right field. Oh, right fielder gets there.
9-3 put out.
How often do you hear that? Wow, just what a great, as soon as the swing was in, the right fielder was coming in and got there just in time. Great throw, and his first baseman, that's LeBlanc, just being aware enough to know, hey, there's a play coming here. I got to get into position. So what, do you call that a ground out?
Yeah.
All the way to the outfield.
Hagen. That's confidence from your right fielder. Your right fielder has the confidence to make that throw.
Hagen's up to bat. 2-0 is the count. She's reached on a walk and has an RBI single. Ooh, tips that foul, 2-1. Carly Jackson filling in for Ball Girl. Well, it's driven, but I think it's right to the left fielder, and it is. And that was a quick 3-up, 3-down inning. Some good bats on balls, but just really good defensive play. And Hagen, a smile of frustration as I think she knows she got good contact there. There's just nothing you can do when, and we talked about it, you have, I don't know how much feet that kind of arc is in the outfield, but there's a lot of feet there, and you just hit it in the wrong 5-10 feet where there's a fielder standing there, and you're out. And
Bridget Kelly, the left fielder, just pretty much basically hit right to her. Didn't have to. I think she took a half step to her left and just reached up her glove.
Mm-hmm.
But just a nice Senna Catterall, is the right fielder.
Made that great
made
throw.
the great throw from right field, throwing out at first.
Mm-hmm.
That's something you just love to see.
So we're going to the bottom of the fourth inning. We'd like to thank our inning sponsor, Sonova Credit Union. We're talking about dogs. Of course, they have the two St. Bernards. So I want to talk about dogs again. And you think, in the majors where they use like 100, 200 balls a game, I don't know what it is, but it's a lot, right? Almost every pitch. I think instead of ball boys, a team would have a ball dog, because it doesn't matter if it gets chewed up a little, right?
Yeah, there's a college team actually in the States does ball delivery. He has a little basket that he carries.
Okay.
He carries it out to the umpire. If the umpire's asking for balls, the
little
dog is the one to do the deliveries.
It's not that, ball boys, I'm sure and ball girls, they're having fun doing it, but, it's a dog, right? I mean, sometimes you just want to see a dog and someone else's kid. Does that mean, say, I'd rather see a dog than a kid? I don't know. Bat boys still has to be, because, you usually lose a bat. So we get the bat boy, but the ball dog.
Mm-hmm.
Bad girl, ball dog. I don't know.
Catherine LaBelle, top of the order, up for Quebec here in this bottom of the fourth. Up 10-3, looking to add on. Tessa Hood still in. Of course, we are here in Stonewall at Fines Fields. As that pitch goes low for ball 2, 2-0 the count. That pitch right on target. Count goes to 2-1.
Glenn interrupting here, talking about how he would love to move to Stonewall, and it is a nice place. 2-1 the count.
Just 15 minutes away, as from 15 minutes north of Winnipeg.
Mm-hmm. 3-1 the count now. Pass ball. Looks like there might be enough here. You wouldn't have to. That's with me. I try not to go into Winnipeg. I'm one of them small town people. Called strike, fills the count. Try not to go into Winnipeg unless I have to. It's scary. Talking about some people outside Canada, you have your few big cities, and they don't seem to realize. Ball 4 is the call. Guess how if you live outside the perimeter high in Winnipeg, you live in a very, very small town compared to you. Generally, there are again a couple cities of 10,000 people, but still 10,000 is still a big city. 1,200 I live in, and a lot of towns around where I am, 1,200, 1,000, maybe 1,400, and that's kind of your norm. So, when you look down the street and there are more cars are within a 500-meter radius than in your entire town in Winnipeg, it's weird. 1-0 is the pitch to Gouvernement. Keeping LaBelle there over at first. I think Winnipeg has 70% of our population, and most big cities, they have suburbs that, has a lot of people too, and I have a sister who lives down in Minneapolis, St. Paul area, and it's like, well, Minneapolis, St. Paul are smaller than Winnipeg, but they have suburbs of almost 100,000 people, whereas Winnipeg doesn't have that. Their suburbs are, again, another 1,000 people, 2,000. Maybe West St. Paul and them are a little bit more Headingley, but 1-1 pitch, now 2-1. So when we talk about that, when we sound like small town weirdos, well, we are. They're very small towns. Oh, balk called. Have to kind of look at the replay here. Got a thumbs up talking about being small town weirdos, so I don't know if that thumbs up from the game or my comment.
We'll see.
Let's see if our delay kind of gives us the replay. I'll let Cassidy kind of.
That throw behind Gouvernement. Nice little jog going on tippy toes to dodge out of that. A future in dodgeball maybe for Gouvernement.
You can dodge a fastball. You could probably dodge a dodgeball. 3-1 count. Driven hard. That'll get down. Lorette again getting there and keeping the runner on third. And that balk, that was balks are a hard one. It's one of those ones that rarely no one's arguing it or not. So I don't know. My screen wasn't big enough for me to really see it, but it is a small screen, so I'm not going to say the ump was wrong. I'm just going to say he has a better eye for that than me.
Obviously,
Quebec fans are saying he's right. Nova Scotia fans are saying he's wrong. There's more people in Quebec than Nova Scotia, so majority wins, I guess.
You can't pause or make a movement trying to fake out the runner. Obviously,
that's the balk.
The umpire determining that
if he's decided you're in a pitching motion and you stop, that's a balk. 1-0 the count. Now 1-1. Of course, some pickoff moves you see in the MLB, they're designed to kind of look like a pitching motion at first, but they're actually twisting, and that's when it gets so confusing. Swinging strike 2. A lot of times at this level, they're just not really set properly to pitch, so they're trying to set themselves to, but they've kind of shifted their weight forward. Driven hard.
Misread the bounce there.
And that will bring in 2 runs, an RBI, 2 RBI single for Catterall. That brings the score to 12-3. Quebec over Nova Scotia. Quebec, no outs here in the bottom of the 4th.
Playing third base. Numéro 32, joueuse de troisième but, Ariane Lévesque.
Nova Scotia just hasn't looked comfortable this morning. We saw this yesterday with Manitoba playing in the 9 o'clock game. They just didn't seem like they were ready to go for baseball at 9 o'clock. Steal attempt here.
Ooh.
Bounces into center field, but
Catterall just staying on second with a 9-run lead, not worth the risk. Yeah, you travel out from the far East Coast. I think they're even more east than Eastern time zone. Don't quote me on that. Oop.
Passed ball
in the dirt, bounces past.
Catterall gets the third.
So it's you have a long hot day yesterday. All the traveling. I'm not sure when the team got in, but hopefully with enough time to kind of get rested. But maybe these early morning games. Of course, Manitoba, same thing, but they don't really have an excuse. They're from around here. 9 o'clock really isn't that early, but it is. Pop up. Into the fan. Ooh. Fan was kind of leaned forward to look behind himself, and that probably saved him. He didn't see the ball landing where, had he stayed leaning back, might have hit him.
And it finally drops out of the...
Kind of rolling between seats. 2-1 to Levesque. He's laughing at himself. Should have had that one. Ooh, hard hit. Oh, just drills it. Rolls up to center, and that'll be an RBI single for Levesque. That's her third RBI of the game and third hit as well.
Catterall's having a pretty good game. She's gone on base 3 times, come around to score 3 times, and also had that great play from right field to get the runner out at first.
Mm-hmm. So a lot of really good plays so far for Quebec. High pitch.
Marie-France Castile got on base all 3 times. She's been up.
Tessa Hood's at 39 pitches. Ooh, ball in the dirt, and again just gets past the catcher there. Be interesting to see if she's pulled that 40. There is a... Oh, sorry, that is Quebec's bullpen. I don't see anyone in Nova Scotia's bullpen. Interesting if she goes past 30 or 45, maybe to 60.
Of course, Nova Scotia playing tonight as well.
Ooh, high pitch.
Yeah, both these teams in action later today.
Mm-hmm. I believe it's Saskatchewan, the lucky team, to only play once today. It is.
Mm-hmm. Saskatchewan and Manitoba also.
Manitoba's won as well, yeah. Ooh. Another walk. Castillo. Still no outs in the bottom of the 4th inning.
Yeah.
Quebec is up 13-3. Nova Scotia coach going to come out and talk to Tessa Hood.
It's just not a...
Oh, I'm sorry. She's up to 44 pitches. I was looking at the wrong... So, yeah.
Might not have her throw that last pitch.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's... seeing their body language for Nova Scotia, they're...
she's not handing the ball over, so maybe she will be pitching. We'll take this game break to talk about our sponsor, Imperial Cabinets. Don't have a logo for them, but you can just listen to my voice. Located in 2424 Ferrier Street between Murray and Templeton in Winnipeg. You can have both pre-built as well as they can customize your cabinets. Buy your deck from the Lumber Zone, build your deck, and then get outdoor cabinets. Gotta learn the umpire signs. I don't know what he does. Looks like, baseball bat and then rock on sideways. Pop up.
Tessa Hood, 18 years old, so...
Mama pulling son away from that ball in the stands. Good play, Mom.
When she hits over 45, I think that's the point where she'll be forced to rest for Saturday as a pitcher.
Yeah, she will now.
Of course, she started this game playing right field, so obviously, and leading off. So
we'll see her tomorrow, just not on the mound as she's at 46 pitches. 1-1 the count here to Denis. A little low inside. Glenn trying to get bubble gum. He's saying it's for the kid, but we got to keep an eye on him. 3-1. Said if you come to the field to watch baseball in person, bring the kids and tell them go play baseball out in the foul areas, and they get a baseball and bring it back to the table. They get a double bubble. 3-1 the count. Pitch a little low. That'll be a walk, filling the bases. Bringing up LeBlanc. LeBlanc took that solid thwack on the ribs. Coach comes out to talk to Tessa again. Be interesting to see. I mean, she's over that 45, so you want her to make it to 60, but handing the ball off, it looks like.
Mm-hmm.
And that'll be Tessa Hood's day. We'll get some shifting around for pitching. Looks like number 19, Ellie McCauley. She's going out. Looks like she's going out to right field, though, not the mound.
Right fielder coming in to
That's Alyssa Lorette.
Yeah.
Playing great right fielder plays. 16 years old, too. And a couple hits as well, so now being asked to pitch and just help their team make it through. Couple innings here. Well, if they don't get any runs in the top of the fifth, it'll just be one inning with loaded bases and no outs. Take this game break to talk about our sponsors, Canalta Hotels. Talked about their warm hot breakfast. Yeah, it's warm or hot, so maybe they have both. I don't know what you eat that's warm in the morning. Most of it is hot. I guess some stuff you wait till it cools down. But they have both. Or it's a redundant thing that Glenn sent me. Or one day it's actually Glenn's fault, sending me a warm hot breakfast list. But commitment's in their DNA. They provide above and beyond service and welcoming, comfortable atmosphere. Discover them today at canaltahotels.com. Thank them for helping us put on this broadcast. Of course, we've talked about it. These advertisers. Before you work in broadcasting, you might not really think of advertisers. Honestly, commercials, at best, they're a bathroom break in baseball, but normally they're annoying. You want to get back to your show or to your game, but especially for a thing like this where it's not as easy for a U21 Women's National Baseball Tournament to broadcast due to finances, that these sponsors come in and say, hey, you know what, it may not have the most viewership now, but we want to bring effort and stuff, and this helps not only get the players featured, but it encourages younger players to step up and be the next generation of players. You talked about wanting 10 provincial teams in this tournament, hopefully sooner rather than later. We're at 5 this year, we're at 7 last year. So, just if nothing else, you hear a sponsor, you hear someone, go in and thank them. Even if you don't need to build a deck. You built your deck 3 years ago, and you did a decent job because you got someone to help you, and you didn't He-Man it, and knowing nothing. You stop by the lumber zone, just go in and thank them, and say, hey, thanks for doing this, and buy a barbecue. And we have Letitia had great waffles, eggs, bacon, and sausage so far at Canalta. So there you go. You want breakfast?
Yeah.
That's 3 proteins.
The teams are staying
at a Canalta.
At a Canalta.
All right.
I could be wrong, but
waffles. Because sometimes they'll have like they'll have the actual waffle machine. It's not like toaster waffles. First pitch from Lorette and Little Inside and LeBlanc, and that's just amazing when they do that. I've been in some. I was in one of the states that had like breakfast biscuits and gravy. Apparently it's an American thing. That was interesting. But Letitia, all right, Letitia Wilcox. Sorry. We talked about our farm small town boy limited vocabularies. But waffles. That sounds good right now. 3-0 is the count.
I can see it's starting to get a little bit brighter out, it seems like. You can feel it warming up. Base is loaded here. And that'll be a pass ball. And will end up being a walk, a 4-pitch walk here. That'll bring in a run. And the bases are still loaded.
Getting some encouragement from infielder there. Katie Hagen. 16-year-old pitcher coming in, no outs and bases loaded. That's a tall order.
Not even listed as a pitcher in our game program, so this might be a little bit of game management from Nova Scotia, realizing that
you need to save pitchers, and look at that pitch.
Yeah.
0-2 the count.
Obviously, if you're playing in the outfield, you got a pretty decent arm if you can if you can throw from the outfield to the infield. So
maybe a little high. As amazing to think. This is what major leaguers. This is where the major leaguer pitchers throw from. It's not a short field. This is the full field, and cracked. Oh, just up. Oh, shortstop's able to keep it down, but it will be an RBI single. So you have a 16-year-old who's, getting it around the strike zone, something that even some major leaguers have issues doing. And of course, when you're pitching against a major leaguer, there's the argument that you have to, be more careful with your pitchers. But that's still impressive that they have the same strike zone, same distance, and she's 16-year-old and doing it well. Great breaking ball for a strike. The score, April, it is 15 Quebec. Nova Scotia is 3 in the bottom of the fourth. There's no outs and bases loaded. 2 more runs, and we are looking at an early mercy rule, 15 runs. Naomi Lapointe, pinch hitting.
Yep.
Talked about her pitching earlier.
She might be coming in as a relief pitcher.
Drills it into
hit.
right field. And that'll be another RBI single. So now it's 16-3. You add to the score. You don't take one away.
They're hitting in this fourth inning. It's the second time that Quebec is hitting around.
Going through the order.
Thank you. Couldn't think of going through the order.
Another good breaking ball in. So it's an uncharacteristic. Even when they did lose last year against some of the powerhouses, Nova Scotia kept it interesting, and it wasn't errors. It was just great hitting by Quebec today. And we've talked about Quebec's great pitching all the way through and solid hitting, but this was kind of a step up and beyond. And even yesterday against Ontario, they did put up 11 runs. So just solid bats by Quebec. That ball hit, just foul. Locking out Nova Scotia, but just
that would have been game over.
Yeah. Quebec's bats today, or this year compared to last year, has just been phenomenal. Up to 27 runs in 2 games against the 2 best teams they could play in this tournament, most likely. And that's no knock to Manitoba and Saskatchewan, but
that's obviously when you have the 3 teams that medaled last year.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and there's that weird bounce off the sand again. That'll bring in another run. It'll likely be an error, but that sand is just... You almost have to double, or at least, a little bit more than what you think is going to bounce after hitting the grass. And it's going to bounce more, but now it's bouncing a lot more. It's just weird.
Get your body in front of it as well,
mm-hmm.
if you want to use the Glenn term.
Yeah.
With that high bounce.
We have Gouvernement up at bat. Just a sacrifice bunt, a walk, and a ground out. So it is 17-3 in the bottom of the fourth. Still no outs. Bases loaded.
Yeah. Earlier this inning, she had a base hit, came around and scored. So with no outs and the bases loaded, you have to like Quebec's chances at
getting that last run for the early mercy. 15 runs.
And it looks like the quest for a game to end in the 7th inning, as it was supposed to, continues.
Ooh, what a breaking ball. Just the breaking balls this year have just seemed, the fastballs have seemed a little bit everywhere. And then the breaking balls, it seems like when they just go and they rely on those breaking balls, they're getting not only good movement, but good placement. That ball bounces, and they will get an out, maybe even, not a double play, but that will be the 18th run. And that will enact mercy, I believe. Yeah, runners are going to their field. So, uncharacteristic of Nova Scotia, but Quebec, I mean, they got bats on balls, and they didn't let up. They just took it to them. Just great hitting all the way through the lineup.
Well, you saw Nova Scotia Nova Scotia had to have 5 outs basically to get in the first. Went down 6-0, and you're down 6-0. It's early, and you kind of saw in the body language the shoulders drooped a little bit.
Oh, they came back with the 2
came
runs.
back with 2 runs, but just
and then Quebec has just pounded it right back at him, like, we're not going to let you get back into this game. And Quebec just kind of, they had their way at the plate, and we hope Nova Scotia can shake it off. They have a tough call in Ontario later today. Well, it'll be a hard game, but we believe Nova Scotia can get to that.
Yeah.
Of course, that game is at 6 p.m. Our next game is at noon, Ontario versus Saskatchewan. And we'll have player of the games right away, and then Cassidy.
And your players of the game, starting with Nova Scotia, and the award will be presented by Morgan.
First, we have Nova Scotia.
The player of the game for Nova Scotia will be awarded to number 24.
24, Alyssa Lorette. She went 2 for 2 at the bat, and some great plays in the field. I know she probably didn't want to be the one to get the mercy rule enacted on, but she came in, no outs, bases loaded. What do you do, right?
She came in relief. She had that breaking ball going, but I think that would look like her only pitch that she really had that she could place, and it looked like the Quebec pitchers were anticipating those breaking balls, knowing that she really couldn't get a good fastball going.
But LaBelle, player of the game for Quebec. So stay tuned. We'll have Cassidy, maybe LaBelle. Glenn interrupted me. So we're hoping to get her, and of course Cassidy doesn't know French, unfortunately. Neither do I. And I know last year CBC, the French channel, the French one, came and interviewed not only Quebec, but also got some of the French Manitoba speakers. So that was nice for people at home were able to hear it in their own language. So it'll be interesting to see if they come out again this year. And see if Cassidy gets it. So from all of us here, we'll just wait. But we'd like to thank Sonova Credit Union as well, home of the DOG's Directors of Greetings, otherwise known as their St. Bernards, Gallagher and Lily. See Lily in Stonewall and Toulon on August 15th. Bring the kids, and if you're looking for a bank, why not try a credit union? Looks like Cassidy has. We'll get an interview right away.
The town of Stonewall is a great place to call home. Located just 25 kilometers north of Winnipeg, we offer our residents an abundance of services and amenities, from quality schools to a hospital with a fully functioning emergency room to great seniors housing. Our recreational facilities are second to none. The Veterans Memorial Sports Complex, the Heritage Arts Center, Fines Field at Quarry Park, our paved walking paths, nature trails, and our jewel, Kinsman Lake. Stonewall has a strong base of businesses full of dedicated community-minded entrepreneurs that include a full range of retail and personal service businesses. Our industrial park has grown significantly in recent years, demonstrating the robust economy of our community and surrounding area. The quality of life experienced by our residents rivals any other community, which is why Stonewall is a great place to call home.
Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.
Win over Team Nova Scotia early this morning. Coaching staff for Team Quebec having a little fun here. So you guys obviously jumped out to that big lead in the first inning. Were you obviously a bit of a dream start for you guys?
We couldn't have really pictured it any differently. It was pretty much what we wanted to do. Get the points right off the bat, you know.
And obviously you had that great put out, the 9-3 put out. Where I guess that's as a right fielder. When you see that ball coming to you, are you thinking of going to first base right away?
Yeah, I was it was in my mind already to go to first base. I mean, someone had already called it on the field, and it was just there, so I took it. And
obviously a nice, pretty good day fielding. Obviously with that, were you obviously you guys as a team pretty much dominated at the plate? What was it about today that caused such an offensive outburst for you guys?
I don't know. I think we just came together as a team and worked well together and just hit in the runs when we were able to, and we just came up clutch.
And obviously 2 games for you guys today. Only had 1 yesterday. Obviously, were you hoping to get to have this game be shorter than it was?
Well, obviously it's a really nice thing to have, because now we can go back to the hotel, relax a little more, maybe take a nap before our next game, so we're not as tired, obviously, and it helps with the pitch counts because they're not as high.
Okay, I guess is there anyone you want to give a shout out to who might be watching right now?
My mom. And that's about it.
Okay. Well, good luck for the rest of the tournament. Thank you for doing this, and
Thank you.
And obviously Team Quebec will be back in action later on today. That should do it for us for the first game of the day. For Cassidy Kochik, for Kevin Larson. Next game coming up at noon. So be sure to tune back into the Manitoba Sports Network for that. And sorry, seeing some hand signals here. So thanks for tuning in, and we'll see everybody back at noon.